I survived 100 days as a bandit in Minecraft. My name is Little Kelly and I am Minecraft's most notorious bandit, wanted in every town from Greenfield to Holmesville. After me and my number 2 Jiffy tried stealing this man's carriage full of gold, we soon realized what a big mistake we had made. You see, turns out that man was the town sheriff, and he took Jiffy down while I managed to escape. Now that the sheriff has my number 2, I had no choice but to go into his town and get him back. While I was there, I saw just how much money flowed through this here town. So I set myself 3 main objectives. 1. Locate my number 2 Jiffy and figure out a way to break him out. 2. Investigate this town and see what other secret treasures it holds. And 3. Take on that sheriff in a high noon pistol duel. Winner takes all. Do I have what it takes to save my number 2 and take down the quickfire sheriff? Or will he figure me out and put me behind bars for good? Stay tuned to find out what happens next. Day 1. Jiffy just got nabbed by that silly old sheriff from the next town over. It looks like he had some backup in his cart too. There were way too many men to fight, even for me. I had no choice. I snuck back up the side of the ridge, double checking nobody had seen me while I ran away. I got back to our horses and saddled up. I had to leave Jiffy's horse here, but I'll come back for you tomorrow. Don't worry, fella. Then I took off, leaving Jiffy and his horse behind. I finally arrived back at my camp, just outside the main town where Jiffy, my number 2, was taken by the sheriff. I managed to slip away without being caught, and I don't think anyone followed me. I tied my horse, Hopper, to the post beside his hay and water. It must be like 120 degrees out here tonight. I went and grabbed my sleeping bag from inside my tent and I set it up beside the fire. Then I checked on dinner. It smelled so good. Beef casserole, Jiffy's favorite. After dinner, I lay down on my sleeping bag under the stars. Don't worry, Jiffy. Tomorrow, I'm gonna come and get you and I'll kill that sheriff if it's the last thing I do. Day 2. First things first, I need some new underwear. Wow, who owns the bikini? Jiffy has some explaining to do. Then I fed Hopper. We had a long way to go and I need him at his best. Good boy. I saddled up and we headed off towards the town to take down the sheriff. I followed the river uphill towards the Dead Man's Bridge. I don't know why they call it that, but I'm not looking forward to finding out. Ah, okay. Now it makes sense. OMG, I don't know if this thing is gonna hold my weight, let alone Hopper, but I needed to try. It was the only way across the canyon. We made our way onto the bridge, one step at a time. Easy, boy, easy. We finally hit the middle. Okay, this does not feel safe. Let's keep on moving, Hopper. Good boy. Just don't look down. Finally, we made it to the other side. Piece of cake! I wasn't scared at all. Someone else wet my pants. It definitely wasn't me. I jumped off Hopper to see what was down the other side, and that's when I came across this. It looks like an entrance to a mine shaft, and a pretty big one at that. I wonder what kind of treasure they have inside, or if they've even found it yet. We made it down the hill and onto the train tracks. It's about a half-day's ride into town from there. Let's get going, Hopper. Giddy up. We finally arrived into the city at what looks like a train station. Interestingly, only the rich towns get train stations. I mean, the poor ones you just want to drive right through. I made my way through this town and I was beginning to realize this was no ordinary town. This was a gold mining town full of rich people. And of course, gold! Eventually, I found the sheriff's jail. That's where they must have old Jiffy. I couldn't just walk in there dressed the way I am, so I better find a place where a bandit like me can get a disguise. And eventually, I found just the place. I tied up my horse and I went inside. I was met by an old rich dude. He told me this was his shop and I could do whatever I wanted if I had the money. And oh boy, did I have the money. It just wasn't mine. Now that I'm looking all sharp in my new getup, it was time to walk back over to the sheriff's jail and to see my number 2 Jiffy. I walked in and introduced myself in my best Wild West accent. Well, hello there, sir. My name is, littlekellyyt, and I'm a banker from Greenfield. I have traveled here to check out this fine town with the hopes of moving my business here. But before I do that, I would like to meet your sheriff to discuss the security of my well-being while I'm here. Would you be a doll and fetch him for me? While that idiot went looking for the sheriff, I checked out the jail. So far, no sign of Jiffy downstairs, but I think there's more cells above. And finally, I found him! Jiffy, you're still alive!
Boss, I knew you were gonna come save me. Quick, get me out of here before that sheriff comes back.
I calmed my very eager friend down and explained to him that this town is a gold mine. If I was just to break him out now, we'd have to run away from all this fine gold. He understands he needs to be patient while I figure out my next move. I was just about to leave when the sheriff walked in.
Hello there, littlekellyyt. My deputy told me about your plans regarding moving your business to this town. I'm afraid I'm ever so busy right now. We're currently tracking down a very dangerous bandit just outside our town. But if you could stay here to the week's end, I would love to talk to you then.
I accepted his offer to stay and I headed out to find myself somewhere to sleep for the night. Over the next few days, I stayed very local, checking out the hotel I was staying in as it was super close to the sheriff's prison. I checked around the back of the hotel and I found these drains. Looks like some kind of sewage system. Fancy! This might work for a tunnel right into the prison. And on night 5, I checked out the local tavern. I needed to know where all those thirsty deputies go for a beer after work. I stayed to myself and watched the sheriff come and go. Looks like he spends a lot of time in this place. On day 6, when I was leaving my hotel, I spotted these posters on the walls. Looks like the sheriff has put a bounty on my head for $10,000. Ain't no man brave enough to take me on for 10K. I decided to walk the sewer line from the back of the hotel to try and figure out a way of maybe tunneling under this town to free my number 2 Jiffy. I mean, the jailhouse is right across the road, so I wouldn't have to dig for too long. I was going to drop into my tailor friend later that evening when I noticed this place. I've never seen a sign like that before, so I went inside to take a look. And woo, thank goodness I did. This place is literally the bank for all the gold deposits collected by the mine. I mean, this place looks like it could hold a ton of gold. I made my way upstairs to speak with the manager of this fine place. I think it's time I set up my first bank account. Only problem? He tells me I need gold to open up one. On day 7, I rode my horse back to the mine entrance just outside of the town to see if I could find a way to get inside. I arrived at this little hut down the end of the minecart track. I went inside to check it out and boom! Is that gold already? I didn't have the right tools, so I jumped in a cart and went up the track to see if I could find any. When I got to the top, there was even more gold! I opened the trap doors. I could see workers inside the mine. They would spot me a mile away dressed like this, so I needed to find some kind of disguise. I went inside this building and it looks to be a miner workstation. I climbed the ladder and looked around. No way! A full set of miner gear? Jackpot! I made my way into the mine to check it out. Wow, this thing is huge! No wonder everyone in this town is so rich. There must be gold for days in this place. Then I found this cave. It's so big, but it's also very hot in here with that lava river running through it. Looks like this place must have collapsed into itself and everyone has abandoned this part. It might be worth another look one night. I was leaving later that evening when I spotted these bad boys. Pickaxes! These will work perfectly to mine my gold. On days 8 to 10, I kept a very close eye on the bank. And from what I've seen, they tend to hold all their gold in one room at the back. But where does it go once it's full? On night 9, I got my answer. It looks like the bank manager is stacking this carriage with solid gold blocks. The only problem I see with stealing that carriage would be it's too big and heavy to make a quick getaway with. There has to be another way. On night 11, I decided to start my plan to get Jiffy out of those prison cells, since the sheriff hasn't made any time for me since I've been here. I opened these big drain doors. Oh my gosh, the smell is something else. I had no choice but to jump on in and check it out. It looks like the sewers ran deeper underground, but the tunnel broke off to the left. I was going to need my tools to start digging my way to the prison, and judging by the looks of it, I better start tonight. I spent the next 8 or 9 nights digging in random directions to try and find any clue as to where the prison cells were situated. But on day 20, I gave up. I was making a mess for nothing. I needed some kind of blueprint to the town to figure this mess out. I climbed back out of the sewer, closed the hatch, and took off my miner clothes. And as I was on the way back into the hotel for a shower, the sheriff stopped me.
Oh hey, glad I found you. I just wanted to apologize about not having the time to speak with you regarding your business here in the town. We're having major railway lines put in for the arrival of the new National Bank train arriving here next week. And I've just been up at the mayor's house looking over the town blueprints and his house. It's crazy.
I stopped listening after that. Did he just say the National Bank train and blueprints? I guess my next stop, the mayor's house. Later the following night, I snuck my way onto the grounds of the mayor's house, just outside the town's main street. This place was huge, and he definitely has staff living in the house. I snuck my way towards the front door when I heard someone coming. I gotta hide. I jumped into this haystack outside the door and watched as the maid left the mayor's house and headed for her sleeping quarters. It looks like the house is clear. I let myself in. It's technically not breaking in. I mean, the door was open. Anyway, I looked around for those blueprints, but there was no sign downstairs. I went upstairs to check around, and there he was. The mayor asleep in his bed. Wow, he eats a lot of pies. I looked around and found the blueprints. Now I need to get out of here before I get caught. That was like stealing candy from a baby. I just stepped outside when... Is that the sheriff outside the mayor's house now? Oh, come on. I ran back inside and looked for an exit downstairs. I found this door that led right into the pig's house. I snuck through and then I watched the sheriff go inside the mayor's house. I was making my run for it when the sheriff's deputy saw me. Or at least I thought he did. He started shooting, but nowhere near me. This guy must need glasses. I ran for my life. They're gonna be hot on my tail. I can feel it. It's day 22 and I have a plan. I need the sheriff focused on catching the real me, the notorious Little Kelly, so that he never suspects my fake character, littlekellyyt, as the real bandit. I saddled up on my horse and kinda just went for it. I rode into town shooting my gold revolver into the sky. It's me, the notorious bandit Little Kelly, and I'm here to, rob your bank and all you rich folk around here. I rode around shooting my revolver until the sheriff came out. I took a shot at him and he ran back inside to get his gun. I rode off on my horse and hid behind the bank. I tied my horse off and then I got changed back into my other clothes. After that, I walked back into the town. The sheriff was riding towards me. He asked if I saw any bandits riding by and I said yes. He went that way. And off he went. That's him on a wild goose chase for the next few days. I better get finishing my tunnel. With the sheriff gone and the blueprints I needed, I got to work tunneling my way to the prison to break out my number 2, Jiffy. I followed the map to a T, and I think by my calculations, I should be directly under Jiffy's prison cell now. I dug my way up and placed my ladders. With this next block, I should be in. 3, 2, 1, Jiffy! Jiffy? Where in the world am I? It looks like I'm in the fruit and veg store. Oh, come on. How did I get my tunnel so wrong? Then it hit me. I was looking at it from the wrong side, and I went right when I should have went left. Great. All that digging for nothing. The next 2 days, I looked around to see what other tools I could use to help dig my tunnel, and I think I found the jackpot. This is a real-life TNT and dynamite store. You gotta love the Wild West. I bought 5 sticks of dynamite. That should be enough to get me where I needed to go. That was until I realized I was going to need way more. Today was the day I realized what I had to do to make myself the most dangerous bandit in all of Minecraft. I had to rob this train. It looks like this train is responsible for bringing all the smaller surrounding towns gold and other treasures to the main banks in the city. And by the looks of how full this train is, I'd say this is the last stop before it unloads, meaning it's full to the brim. I would be the richest bandit to have ever lived. I spoke with this conductor and he told me the train will be back in exactly 50 days from now, which means I had 50 days to break Jiffy out, teach him how to rob a train while it's moving, and also kill the sheriff and get out of this town with all the gold a bandit like me could ever want. Days 39 to 50, I spent digging. I dug and also used some dynamite to clear my tunnel to Jiffy's prison cell. I hope no one heard that. And eventually I made it. And this time I was 100% positive. I'm gonna dig through and get him out. 3, 2, 1. Jiffy? Wait, you're not Jiffy? Oh, come on. I guess I found the prison, but not the right cell. I had to find him, so I broke through the bars and looked around. Jiffy, I've come to get you, buddy. Let's get out of here.
Not so fast, partner. Raise your hands where I can see 'em, or else I'll let this shooter here do some shooting.
Oh no, the sheriff's deputy was right behind me, and he had me dead to rights. I turned around and he was in shock. He couldn't believe it was me. I told him it was all a joke and I was playing a prank on the sheriff. He started to calm down, and when he looked away for that split second, I whipped out my golden revolver and I shot the deputy dead. Woohoo! I still got it. Fastest hands in the West. Now the gunshot went off, everyone will be on their way here to see what happened. Myself and Jiffy went back into the hole and made our way back through the tunnel. We got back to our hotel room and Jiffy stayed hidden when there was a knock on my door.
Knock, knock, excuse me, this is the sheriff. Please open your door and come outside.
This is it, the final shootout. No, wait, I have to play this cool. I need to rob that train on day 88. I opened the door and asked him what the problem was. He told me the jail had been broken into and that the deputy had been shot. He was just checking in to make sure I was okay and safe, and that no prisoner had attacked me. I assured him I was fine, just very tired, and that I wanted some sleep. Wow, that worked! I guess we just lay low for now. On day 51, I did all of my errands now that I have Jiffy, my number 2, back. I needed to get him a new suit as the sheriff is most likely looking for him. I bought a gun off one of the store owners for Jiffy's protection, of course. And I finally stole some more miners' clothes so that I could get Jiffy up here working at night looking for more gold with the miners. The sheriff would never look for him up here. Over the next 8 days, myself and Jiffy did some shooting to practice our aim for when the real fun begins and we robbed that train. He was a great shooter, as was I. On foot, we were the 2 most scariest sons of guns alive, but on horse while moving, well, let's just say he couldn't even hit that train if it was standing still. Jeez, what are we gonna do? Just when I thought that maybe this plan to rob this train was so dumb to pull off, Jiffy said something.
Oh man, I'm sorry, boss. I don't think I'm gonna be much help with robbing this train while it's on the move. Are you sure we just can't rob it while it's in the station?
You know what? I think Jiffy might have just had a great idea. On day 61, I climbed onto the hill above the train tracks to see if I could get a better view of the station. Jiffy gave me a great idea. What if we could stop the train dead at the station by collapsing the entrance of the tunnel? No, that still wouldn't work for so many reasons. One of which, if the train wanted to, it could just go back the other way. I went inside the tunnel to take a look around and try get a better idea, and that's when it hit me. By the looks of it, the mayor is expanding the tunnel to cut all the way through the canyon to the other side. If I could get some explosives somewhere in the middle, I could stop the train from getting in or out. But then, how would I get the gold out? This is how. I would use my new tunneling skills to tunnel my way into the underground train tunnel. Plant my explosives at the start and at the end of the tunnel. Then, when the train stops, I would steal all the gold, load it into a boat waiting for us in this hidden cave. Now all I need is more explosive, lots of equipment, oh, and a boat. Easy for a bandit like me. Myself and Jiffy got to work over the next 24 days. We continued our work in the mines to try and find this rare gem that we've been hearing about, while also stealing the tracks, carts, and TNTs to help us tunnel our way into the underground railway through the canyon. Jiffy really thinks he's onto something in this part of the mines, but I just don't see it. By day 76, we had tunneled our way right into the canyon, and we were nearly ready to set the explosives to collapse the tunnel. And by day 82, we had made our exit point through the canyon walls. We even built our tracks the whole way through to load the gold and other treasures directly into our, boat. We still need that. And by day 86, I think we had it figured out. This was it. This was the boat big enough to take all the gold from the train and quick enough to get us up the river before the sheriff's department even knew what hit it. We'd have to leave stealing this last. We achieved a lot in the last few weeks, myself and Jiffy, but we still had a lot of work to do. Let's get some sleep in. Day 87, the day before we robbed the train. It was meant to be a nice and relaxing day down the tavern. We were gonna mingle with the locals and create a solid alibi for tomorrow, but Jiffy had other plans. He came running in like some kind of crazy man. What if the sheriff sees you? He told me he found the gem in the mine by accident, and he doesn't know how he did it, but he needs me to help him get it. This makes no sense. We waited until nightfall when everyone had left the mines before we went back in looking for this gem. Jiffy brought me to where he found it. That's just a stone wall, Jiff. I think your few days in prison has scrambled your mind. He's confident that it's here, and that he walked me through his footsteps. He was hiding here from the chief miner Steve, and after he left, he was throwing stones at this wall, killing time. That's when this wall opened up and showed him the gem, like a secret entrance. I asked him to do it again, and then the stone hit that sweet spot. What in the world? I looked around for something to pry the door open, but no luck. That's when I spotted it. Is that a button on the wall? Here we go, day 88. The train is at the station and it's been filled with the town's gold and its treasures from the people who live here. It's stacked, fueled, and ready to go. The plan was all going perfect until the sheriff and his new deputies arrived. Why are they here and what are they doing? No, they're getting on board the train. They must be escorting the train to the city bank. This changes nothing. The plan is still a go. Looks like I'll just have to take out the sheriff too. Myself and Jiffy were at the point of no return. Once we hear the train about to pass us, we blow the tunnel. Here it comes! It's getting closer! Wait! Now, Jiffy, blow the TNT! We did it! It worked! Now to see if the train stopped or did we crush it under the canyon forever. It's there! We did it! The only thing we have to do now, take out those deputies and kill the sheriff. An epic gunfight broke out between us. The sheriff and his deputies were well trained, but myself and Jiffy were just too fast. We had them pinned, so I started to move around to the right when the sheriff came out and he shot Jiffy. No! I returned fire, but I got hit. Oh no! It was all coming to an end. My bandit days were over. But wait, the rule of the West. I demand a duel at dawn. Sheriff, do you hear me? I, Little Kelly, the most notorious Minecraft bandit, demand a duel at dawn. And by the laws of the Wild West, they state if a duel is requested, then the duel is granted, unless you forfeit and let me go. He shook his head and agreed. In exactly 11 days from now, to allow us both to recover for this gunfight, we will duel to the death. If I die, it's over. If he dies, I get the gold. Day 99. Duels at dawn. The streets were lined with the people who lived here, eagerly waiting to see if the sheriff could save the day and retrieve their gold, or if I, the most notorious bandit in Minecraft, could win this duel and take it all. It's a mad old law when you think about it. There he is, Sharky, the town sheriff. I was beginning to respect him now. He's not the drunk pushover I thought he was when I first came here all that time ago. But today, he dies. Or I do. We walked towards each other, then went back to back. Now we take 10 steps and then we shoot. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shoot! What the? We both missed? What do we do now? Ah! We started to shoot wildly at one another. For every bullet he sent my way, I sent 3 back. Someone is bound to get hit when we both did. I'm hurt, but so is he. I dropped my gun, and so did he. I walked over to mine to grab it and to try finish him off. I picked it up and turned to face him when he hit the ground. I did it! I won! Now all I need to do is load up my gold and get out of here. Day 100, and I did it! I'm on my boat with as much gold as I could carry. And let's not forget about this guy. I started the engine and then, just as the boat started to move away, I died! Turns out the gunshot I took did ultimately kill me. Some say the boat and the gold sunk to the bottom of the river, never to be seen again.